What do you think about Greenpeace's Living Soil campaign?
Living Soil campaign by Greenpeace is, I think, a very, very important campaign because the main thrust of the campaign is to bring health back into the soil, which has got completely degraded by excessive use of chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, and the works. And through this campaign, what one is trying to do is to bring back traditional wisdom and indigenous wisdom to recreate a health in the soil of this country.
How capable do you think films are for changing people's attitude about social issues?
I do not know how important films can be in that, because we've yet to see the kind of changes. Yes, one can go back into history and say that yes, the French Revolution also was, began with a lot of art movement. There was a lot of changes within the art of the era, and that sort of led. One can't really say that the French Revolution came because of it, but yes, certainly a kind of information, a kind of sensitivity brings about this art. And I think now films like these, no one film can definitely not change it, but I think all art, whether it's films, paintings, or anything, is a mirror of the society, right? So if a film is showing a mirror to society, it is in its own way, even if it's very minimal, very, very small, it is sort of pushing towards a change, if not in itself bringing one.
You've made film on the conditions of the farmers in India. What is your take on the condition of the planet? What is your take on climate change and global warming?
I mean, these are huge categories. One can't really address them all in one small television interview. Global change is happening. There is climatic change. We are beginning to see the first few refugees now coming out of all sorts of countries. And one of the first hit are the poor, and the women. And the first hit are going to come from the third world countries, and they are now beginning to emerge, whether they are the fishermen or the farming communities or the Adivasis. All of them are there as climatic refugees. So, what are we pretending that they don't exist or what? I mean, they're right there in our faces. And it's a huge concern. It's something that will take perhaps seminars on end to discuss it, and even so much as look at any kind of a solution, even to start beginning to even think what we are going to do. Because in the last so many years, in the last 100 years, the kind of depletion we've done of the earth and the natural resources, it is now time to stop it and to start thinking about rejuvenation. It's a very long, difficult process. I mean, one can hardly address it right now.
What role do you think volunteers can play in building pressure on governments of the world for a climate saving deal?
I don't quite know. I mean, I do feel that there has to be a very, very sustained movement from within different countries onto their own governments, and definitely from the third world onto the first world. We cannot always accept their diktats on emissions and things like that. They have to cut down their emissions first, foremost. They are more than us. We have to know this. We have to be more knowledgeable. But I think this sustained kind of movement has to come from the youth of this country, and it's time. Because this is the time for any movement or any change to take place, because after a few years perhaps it will be way too late to even think or contemplate about any change.
Greenpeace would not have managed to take direct action for so many years without the help of volunteers. What message would you like to give them?
I think the effort that Greenpeace is making, the kind of sustained effort they have been making over the past, at least I know that the India chapter is about 10 years old. For the last 10 years, the kind of effort they've been making, it's very commendable. It is the kind of effort that we require today. And the volunteers are doing a fantastic job, and this is where I think the seed of change is going to come from. These are the places where ideas are going to be generated, and maybe even solutions are going to be found. So hats off to these guys, the volunteers, and they're doing a fantastic job, a job which is extremely important.